第38节，别乱跑，能量武士。
Nature is quite beautiful and mysterious, isn't it, Meng Meng?
是啊，克里斯博士，我观察了好多次，每次出现的美丽图案都不一样。
Oh, so have you made any discoveries?
当食用色素刚刚滴进水里的时候，它们停留在底部，水也很清澈，但是没一会儿，颜色就开始扩散了，最后把整杯水弄得乱七八糟。
That's right. Just like a messy room, there are many more ways for the colors to appear spread out, and so we find it that way more often. But we can't predict the way it will happen. Meng Meng, in all of your experiments, did you ever see a situation where the spread out color all compressed into one drop as it was at the beginning?
你是说这些颜色又变回到最开始在水里的几滴吗？那怎么可能？它们只会在水中扩散的到处都是。
That's a good observation, Meng Meng. The chaos can only get worse and worse, and never goes back to the way it was. This is just like your messy room. If you don't clean it, the mess only gets worse, right?
是的。哦，对了，克里斯博士，这几节课中，您为什么要一直教我们学习怎么去数房间变乱的方式呢？
That's a great question. I was hoping that by having you and the children observe many things around us, it will help you understand some scientific principles. Just like a messy room or the color in the water, things only get messier and messier. This actually applies to a lot of things in our daily lives.
是吗？你能再给我们举几个例子吗？
Sure. How about the castle you made of sand? If you leave it alone, it will fall down, leaving sand everywhere. Or the grass in the yard. If you don't weed it regularly, the weeds will spread far and wide. Or a house that's left unattended will eventually become run down. Even in the schoolyard, without bells or fences, the children would run all over the place, wouldn't they?
的确，一下课，操场上到处都是学生。你说的这些和我乱糟糟的房间一模一样，能将它们收拾整齐的方法只有一种，不然它们就会越来越乱，乱到无法想象。可是这是为什么呢，克里斯博士？
Oh, okay. Well, why don't I explain why the colors spread in the water? To put it simply, it's because the colors keep moving. And because they're moving, they'll eventually visit all the places in the water.
运动，颜色也会运动。我记得你说过，运动需要能量武士。难道这些颜色里都有能量武士吗？
Good for you, Meng Meng. You remembered the knowledge you learned before. That's great. Based on this, we can learn the knowledge behind the messed up room and the spreading of the colors. Are you ready? Come with me. Hi, children. Trying to understand the things you don't know can be exhausting, don't you think?
哦，天哪，克里斯博士，我想问题想得头都疼了。物理学家们是怎么做到的呢？
Well, physicists first try to understand the rules behind it. Then they try to prove their ideas with experiment and induction. And finally, they reveal these rules to the public in understandable ways.
所以房间会越来越乱，颜色会扩散的到处都是，这也是科学家发现的道理吗？
Well, yeah. We said that the reason behind the spreading out water is motion, and the cause of motion is energy. Do you understand this part?
这个我明白。我房间里的玩具和书到处都是，是因为我用我身体里的能量武士移动了它们，对吗？
Good. your analysis is correct. The color is actually molecules, and they have energy warriors inside of them, and therefore they move.
哦，对哈，能量武士最喜欢到处跑了，他们还会变化，比如动能武士就可以变成热能武士，对吗？
You are correct. Kids, do you still remember energy and the energy warrior? If not, let's review it now together. Children, the energy warriors move from place to place, but always end up as heat energy warriors in the end.
是的，我记得它们扩散开来，然后消失不见。
Correct. Energy is just like the red food coloring. It can spread too.
能量武士很调皮，就跟下课的学生一样，他们也会扩散到任何地方，就和颜色一样，对吗？
Correct. And after they start spreading, they can move anywhere in unpredictable and chaotic ways. But in order to control the energy warriors, scientists will use observations and experiments to find good methods.
这就像我需要人帮忙收拾房间一样，科学家们想阻止能量武士四处乱跑吗？
Yes, and in trying to understand this process, scientists found out there are far too many ways to count the energy changing. Sometimes there are very few ways, and sometimes there could be thousands of ways.
我明白了，就像我的房间一样，有的时候干净整洁，有的时候会出现各种脏乱的形式。
Indeed. And in order to analyze the chaotic changes of energy, a German scientist invented a word to represent it.
好吧，那物理学家发明的词儿是什么呢？
Entropy.
Entropy.
Yes, entropy. And in order to interpret the scientific concept accurately, Chinese scientists invented a word as well. Shang.
熵，这个读音真有意思，那它是什么意思呢？
Entropy is the number of ways. Or we can say it represents the possibility of chaos. A small number of ways, or a lower possibility, is called low entropy. A large number of ways, or a big possibility of chaos, is called high entropy.
哦，好吧，那是不是说越整齐熵越低，越乱熵就越高？
That's right.
也就是说，我的房间收拾好了是低熵，而乱的时候就是高熵。还有滴入水中的颜色集中在一处属于低熵，而颜色扩散开则属于高熵。
Very smart. We use entropy to talk about the changes of energy warriors.
你是说能量武士的混乱程度吗？他们排成队听指挥的时候是低熵，如果不听话到处乱跑就是高熵了，对吗？
Very impressive. You're doing awesome, Meng Meng. It is after the study of energy using entropy that scientists discovered the law of energy movement, the laws of thermodynamics.
热力学定律是跟牛顿定律一样吗？
Yes, these are old physics rules that scientists discovered even before knowing about molecules. And with the help of these rules, scientists figured out how to control the energy warriors. Specifically, how to use heat energy. This helped us build heat engines and refrigerators.
哇，热力学定律，快告诉我这个定律是什么吧？那统计物理学会帮助我理解这些定律吗？
Well, maybe, but I think you already understand the first law.
是吗？我是说，没错，我当然知道了，我很聪明的。可是你能稍微再提醒我一下吗？
Haha, Meng Meng. The first law of thermodynamics is that energy cannot be created or destroyed.
哦，对，这个我记得，能量武士永远都不会消失，他们只会移动到另一个地方。
That's right. And if we put a lot of heat energy warriors into one place with very little energy, what will happen?
他们那么调皮，一定会到处乱跑。哦，就像颜色一样，他们会扩散开。
Very good. And if we gather a lot of heat energy warriors together, how do we know that they're there?
很多热能武士挤在一块儿的话，那不是会很热吗？那里温度会不会很高？
Yes. And how do we measure temperature?
用温度计。
Correct. we can measure the amount of heat energy with a thermometer. Do you remember when I took your temperature with a thermometer? We can use temperature to play a little game and do an experiment that will help us understand the second of the 3 laws of thermodynamics.
哦耶！我最爱玩游戏了。亲子游戏。
Children, today we learned about the physics concept of entropy and how it relates back to our old concept of energy. Next time, we'll learn about a very important rule of nature. But first, I want you to discover it on your own. You'll need 2 glasses and a thermometer. Fill 1 glass halfway with cold water and 1 glass halfway with hot water. You can use your hand or the thermometer to note the temperature difference. Now, pour the hot water very slowly into the cold water. Now you may think that the hot water is still inside this glass. Maybe it's sitting all at the top. But if you use your thermometer, you can check that the temperature is the same no matter where you put it in the glass. What does your thermometer read? Next time, I'll tell you about what this says about the second law of thermodynamics. Bye!